What's up guys, Tommy Bowyer here from Movie Rewind, and today I will be reviewing Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampire. So without further ado, let's get into it. Legend of the Vampire was released in 2003 and produced by Warner Bros. Animation. It reunites the 1960s Scooby-Doo Where Are You voice cast consisting of Frank Welker, Kasem, Nicole Jaffe and Heather North, and is also the first to be solely produced by Hanna-Barbera following the death of William Hanna. Now, Legend of the Vampire I have always had a bit of a soft spot for. It's probably one of the earliest, if not the first, Scooby-Doo film that I ever saw as a kid, and I became a devoted fan thereafter. Legend of the Vampire is a really good Scooby-Doo film. It has a good mystery in it, and it also has a lot of great moments as well. There will be spoilers in this review, so if you haven't seen this film yet, I would suggest watching it before you watch this video. So Legend of the Vampire involves the gang going to an Australian rock music festival, which is being haunted by a vampire known as the Yow Yow Who, which has also turned Wiedlin, a band that appeared in the previous year's contest, into vampires as well. And the idea is that the gang have to try and solve this mystery to try and figure out why the Yow Yow Who and the Wiedlin vampires keep stealing and kidnapping other contestants in the contest. And I have to say that Legend of the Vampire has a much lighter tone compared to its four predecessors. It is the first to be purely animated by Warner Bros. Animation, and I have to say their more colourful and vibrant animation does fit the lighter tone of this film. I don't think a darker tone would work there. So yeah, the animation does work. It kind of has an air of the 1960s Scooby-Doo Where Are You series, and I think it's trying to pay homage. All of the characters are dressed in their 1960s attire, so I'd say the animation really works. It adds to this film being kind of a celebration of Scooby-Doo's original past. The vampires have unique designs and they do kind of stay in your head. You remember what they look like after watching this film. I think that's because the Wiedlin vampires are supposed to be a glam rock band, so they already have quite outrageous designs, so I think it works when they're turned into vampires. The vampires don't really look like traditional vampires, and I think that's what makes it work here. The Yow Yow who is the main vampire, he is also really good. I mean, he scared me as a kid. He's got quite a scary design and he's quite a formidable monster, so I'd say the Yow Yow Who does work here as well really well. The mystery is also pretty interesting. There's quite a lot of twists and turns, and for a younger audience you can see how they would have a lot of fun trying to work out this mystery. I mean, even me as an adult watching this film, the mystery is pretty good. It does keep you guessing throughout, and there's some great plot twists as well, which really do add to the mystery. The return of the Hex Girls is welcomed, I have to admit. They provide some good original songs which are very catchy and do stick in your head. So yeah, I enjoyed the Hex Girls returning. Obviously this is a lighter film compared to Witch's Ghost when they last appeared, but you know what, they kind of work with the lighter tone. I think having the film set at a rock music festival explains why the Hex Girls are present, and they're still really good. So I'm not going to have a go about the Hex Girls being in it, because obviously any appearance with the Hex Girls is something special. Honestly, and I've heard people say the problem with this film is the fact that it goes back to just stereotypical Scooby-Doo. It turns out that the monster isn't real, it's just people running around in costumes. But you know what? I've never had a problem with it, because this film is celebrating Scooby-Doo's past. This is Scooby-Doo Where Are You as a feature film. It really is, and I have no problem with that. As I've said, the characters all appear in their original attire, and that is welcomed. The animation's more colourful, so I think having the monsters fake kind of fits this film's tone anyway. And you know what? Scooby-Doo is a franchise which has survived the test of time, and it's because they offer interesting mysteries. No one phoned it in with this film. It's clear that they knew what they were doing, and they really put a lot of effort into making an interesting and creepy mystery while also keeping Scooby-Doo's fun and charm as well. So yeah, Legend of the Vampire, a really great Scooby-Doo mystery. The scene of the film. Now, for me, it has to be the initial chase between Shaggy and Scooby and the Wild Wind vampires. Not only does it have a really good song, which I think it's called Get Away, yeah, it's sung by the Hex Girls, which is also really great. It's a fun and exciting chase scene, which also is very creative and also gets you quite hyped as well, I have to admit. I think that's a combination of not only the chase, but also the music that goes along with it. So yeah, that's the scene of the film. There are plenty of other scenes I could have mentioned, but for me, this is the scene which really was enjoyable while watching. So in conclusion, Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampire is a back-to-basics Scooby-Doo film, but it is one which really does celebrate Scooby-Doo's past. It's great to hear the original voice cast reprising their roles over 30 years later. Obviously, as a kid, I had no idea. Looking at it at an adult now, it's really impressive that they got the original cast to return because they're really good in those roles, which you would expect them to be. Warner Bros. Animation didn't phone it in with their first film. They put a lot of time and effort into the colourful animation, as well as creating a good mystery which has the necessary twists and turns to keep the viewer invested, and also plenty of fun and exciting moments which will keep younger viewers involved in the film as well. And that is why Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampire gets a very well-deserved gold ranking. Now, am I looking at this through rose-tinted glasses as I grew up with this film? Probably, but nostalgia's not always a bad thing. But if you're a fan of Scooby-Doo and you haven't seen this film, then you are definitely missing out. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed this review. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe in order to receive great and maybe even improved quality content in the future. Now, I'm reviewing Scooby-Doo films again because it is October, and I reviewed some last year during October and I really enjoyed it. So it's great to look back at films on my childhood. I have to admit, I haven't seen these in a couple of years. So it's great to look back, and I hope you enjoy it as well. And I will see you in another one. See ya!